Okay, Morai Rabotai, Achai V'Re'ai. Welcome to another Tuesday night shiur. Today, I would like to first say thank you to the sponsor of the shiur, an old Talmid Chaver, I would say. I remember teaching him when he was in high school. Was it 4 years? It was 4 full years. And today he's now sponsoring the shiur. Ben Sion, Bruce Ben Gadaev. He has an unbelievable, actually, I was watching his YouTube channel, but I put it on speed mode because just to hurry up the time. He has a nice, what is it? What's it called?
The Big Bang.
The Big Bang
Speech.
The Big, because his last name is Ben Gadaev, so it's the Big Bang. Very nice. It's a very catchy slogan. I like it actually. Okay, may you be matzliach in it, and thank you for sponsoring the shiur. We are officially in Chodesh Av. We are in the month of Av. It says in the Gemara, whenever the month of Av comes, we have to put our happiness a little lower. A little lower. Does that mean we shouldn't be happy? No. We still have to be happy. But to a little lower frame. Which means weddings and smachot and so on and so forth are usually not done on these days.
What about business?
Business is done. You can definitely do business deals. That's without an issue. Now, usually Chodesh Av falls on Sefer Devarim, the book of Devarim. We are in the last book. We started a little bit, now it became all the way. We are in the last book of the Torah Kedusha. It's called Mishnah Torah. Everyone knows it's called Mishnah Torah. It's the book that Moshe Rabbeinu Be'atzmo B'Chodo wrote. And we see a lot of interesting things, and there's a certain topic that I want to delve in with an understanding that most people don't have. And none of the things I say come from my own mind. I'm not a Baba. I don't create things. Nothing to create. Hashem created everything, and everything that He created, we have to take it, formulate, learn from our Rebbeim, and express it. There's a certain mitzvah that everyone loves to do. What's this mitzvah? Without any issue. No. Tochiach et amitecha. What's that? To rebuke people. No one has an issue with this mitzvah. I'm telling you. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, ba 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 ba. And what's their excuse? They say, look at Sefer Devarim. Look at Moshe Rabbeinu. From the beginning until the end, he was just putting Bnei Israel down. And today I'm about to pop everyone's bubble. How they're learning Sefer Devarim wrong. How they look at Moshe Rabbeinu like he was a wicked man. He was a man that at the end of his life, the last day of his life, he said, now I'm going to take my revenge. Because this book was written in the last day of his life. And how we have to see how he used Tochacha. How Tochacha has to be brought about. We're living in a generation, these red pill guys. A lot of them. There's two sides of the spectrum. There's one guy that says we have to bow down to the opposite gender. The other one says we have to step on the opposite gender. The Torah says you don't need to bow down. You don't need to step. You just need to stay in your lane. If you stay in your lane, you'll be fine. And today we're going to prove to you how Moshe Rabbeinu was a mastermind in this. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu starts, he gathers the Bnei Israel. If you look at the first Aliyah, and he goes, and what does he go? He starts with Machmaot. He starts to praise the Jewish people. He said, you guys are wise. You got the Torah. And after he gave his Machmaot, he gave his, when the Gemara says, if you want to lie, and you want people to believe, you learn it in the Torah. Add some truth. Who do we learn this from? The Meraglim, the spies. The spies, where did they go? They came from Eretz Canaan. They said, wow, Eretz Canaan. The land is fruitful. The land is amazing. but there are giants. But the land kills its people, its inhabitants. And all the Jews start to get scared. Wow, where are you taking us? Moshe Rabbeinu, let's go back to Egypt. You were slaves there. You were slaves. Why do you want to go back? A person in his nature likes to stay in the darkness where he knows. I'd rather stay in the sorrow that I know than go into a new sorrow. That's why there are very little successful people. Why is it people that are successful monetarily, physically, mentally? Because they rather stay in the tragedy that they know that they can handle, than the trauma that they can be in, than cut all ties and start something new. Because they're scared of the challenge. And Moshe Rabbeinu was an Ish Chacham. And he said, and he remembered why he didn't go into Eretz Yisrael. Why didn't he go to, what was one of the beginning causes for him not to go into Eretz Yisrael? He went to the Jews and he said, Shimuna Hamunim. Listen to me, you people, you ungrateful, you disgusting nation. Hashem said, you're cursing my nation. You're not going into Eretz Yisrael. You're going to die outside of Eretz Yisrael. You're going to be niftar. Excuse me, not the word die. You're going to be niftar. You're going to pass away outside of Eretz Yisrael. You're not going in. Why? What did I do? You were insulted for the Jewish people. You rebuked in a way that wouldn't fix them. You would just crush them. Rebuke has to come in a positive way. That's why you see a kid with his parents, and his parents are upset, and suddenly he starts to bash his child. What happens automatically to the child? Defense mode. He doesn't want to hear it. Defense mode. Parent, you're always wrong. But when the parent comes and gives a mahma'ah, talks to the child, panim and panim, the father puts his level down. There's a story of Nachman in Breslov, one of the most amazing stories. The prince's son became a chicken. I'm not going to get into the whole story. Basically, one day a prince's son decided he's a chicken and he started doing pop pop. And he goes under the table, he's doing pop pop. Imagine you're the king and your son is acting like a chicken, huh? Mamash a bird, huh? That's exactly what happened. And he tried everything. Until one day he called one Chacham and he said, please help my son. And the Chacham said, I got it, don't worry about it. The Chacham came. I see you gaining weight. The Chacham came and said, I got this, my king. What did he do? He took off his clothes, he went under the table, and he said, pop, pop. And the son and this Chacham are playing pretend chickens. The king said, Babshay, what's going on over here? Not only did I have a son that's a 2-point, now the teacher's also a 2-point. Now I know why this whole society is crazy. Please sit down. Thank you. And slowly, the teacher put himself on the level of the child. And from one pop, he started to speak. Hello. And the kid answered him back. And slowly, he got that kid out of that phase of being a chicken into being back a little kid, to being back human. You want to sometimes help someone, you have to get down to his level. A good mechanech, a good parent, is a parent that puts his own shoes in his child's shoes and says, what's bothering him? How do I fix him? Am I going to fix him by bashing and destroying him? 101 for Shalom Bayit. 101. Never complain without first pleasing. You want to change in the spouse? You want to change in someone that you're going out with? Someone you're married or someone that you are already married to? What's the key? They tell older women this. First feed your husband. Make sure he does that burp after and then start complaining. It's one of the greatest advices a woman can ever hear. Why? Because until the husband is not full, he's just going to roar like a lion. And anything you say is just going to make volcanoes. So why aren't you chachama? Why aren't you smart? Because it's all about me. It's all the ego game. It's all the ego game. Who's going to win? Me, Yebarosh. Who's going to be on top of the world? Is it going to be me or is it going to be her? Is it going to be me or is it going to be my child? Who's going to be on top? Why can't I explain to him nicely? And Moshe Rabbeinu was his last day of living. He had no problem to bash the Yehudim. Why didn't he start with bashing? No one's going to take revenge. That's it, he's done. Because he said, in order for me to fix what I did wrong, I need to be nice. They're going now into Eretz Canaan. He told the Yehudim, he said, in Eretz Canaan, the Zima there is unbelievable. Zima is the disgusting between sexuality of people that aren't supposed to be together. Mishkav Zachar. If it's being a rainbow. And so on and so forth with butterflies. He said, you're going to a land that all these stuff are mutar, avodah zarah. You're going to go worship other gods. Hashem hates that the most. He hates it. I always tell people that have shalom bayit issues. I said, make sure when you walk into the house, you turn off your phone. Why? Because you're marrying her, you're not marrying your phone. You don't need to cheat with another woman anymore. You need to cheat with your phone. You need to cheat with all the garbage that comes into your house. Then you wonder why your kids are addicted to watching. Mia Abba, Mia Ben. Who's the father? Who's the son? You're now scream at your son for the mistake that you did that he learned from you? You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. What are you doing? Fix the issue on your own. He sees you working on yourself and automatically he's going to also want to do the same thing. Let's continue in this week's Parashat. You know, we see something amazing. You know, in all tragedies that we personally have in our life, you have to understand that it's really a huge chesed Hashem is doing to our life. Huge! The Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu really go into Eretz Yisrael? There's a huge Or HaChaim in this week's Parashat. What was the issue? What was the issue? We all know the Gemara Mesech Sudan, Masechet Tzananim says that if Moshe Rabbeinu would have went into Eretz Yisrael, he would build the Beit HaMikdash, and when Hashem would be upset at the Yehudim at Tish'a B'Av, he wouldn't destroy the Beit HaMikdash because whatever Moshe Rabbeinu touched was never destroyed. And he would have to wipe out the Yehudim instead of destroying the Beit HaMikdash. So Hashem said, I have a chesed for the Jews. What's the chesed? I rather break and destroy my own house than touch my children. I'd rather destroy stones and wood, but I shouldn't touch my child. And b'zchut zeh, with the merit of this, that since Moshe Rabbeinu was buried outside of Eretz Yisrael, all the Jews, the Yehudim that left Mitzrayim and that were buried in the desert, because Moshe Rabbeinu, you're getting up, I'm going to also get them up. It's like a mashal. What's the example? Let's say you had, I don't know, $50 full of dollars. And you're next to a big apartment complex and the wind came and all your dollars went down. And you're screaming to the people upstairs, can you come down and help me? My $50 scattered. Is anyone going to come down? $50, bratan, go work, get a job. Zavutz, forget it, pocket change. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to even go check. But if you go and say, Ya Habibi, $1 million, who's not going to come down? The bricks will come out from the wall and help you. And everyone's going to come down, no? So Hashem said, how am I going to save these neshamot that are buried in the desert? They're full of sin. Is it worth it for me to pick them up? But if Moshe is there, I'm going to pick them all up. He's that $1 million in the dirt. For him, I'll go. So really, when you have an issue, you have to understand that issue is really to make you good, to make you great. I love people that were addicts, even if it's for drinking or smoking, and they got out of it. I love those people. I love them with a passion. Why? Because they're a person that has self-control. It's easy for your parents and your grandparents to say, wow, why you smoke so much marijuana, ya habibi? Oh, what did not come on, ya habibi? And you ask them, did you try it? No. Why are you opening your mouth? You know what I'm going through? It's not an excuse for you to do it, chas v'chalila. It's not an excuse. It's an excuse for you to break it. It's an excuse for you to work on yourself. Now that you tasted it, I'm going to take it. Give me 1 second. Now that you tasted it, and it was difficult for you, know that only you can overcome it. Because if not, you would have never tasted it. What was your question?
I'm sure that the reason they're saying this is because they know stories, they hear stories.
Correct. And there's a saying in the Torah, no one understands more than a person that's a Baal Nisayon. Someone that experiences a certain challenge, no one is in that level of understanding the pain. It's very easy for a person that has no shalom bayit issues with his wife to go to someone, you'll be fine, it's all gonna be good, just do this, do that, so normal with it. And the guy explained to you, she's worse than Izebel, ya habibi, you don't understand. There is no salvation from such a person. It's easy to talk. It's easy to say. Is that the right? Does that give you the right to give up? Absolutely not. Lahefech! Lahefech! That gives you the strength to continue going. That gives you the strength to hold hands together by yachad and move forward. Because only a person that knows how to give in and look at the world in a bigger lens, in a bird view lens, can see really where the challenges is and why I have these challenges. What do I need to work on? How do I become better? It says that David HaMelech, Hashem told him, you cannot build the Beit HaMikdash. You cannot have the coronation of the Beit HaMikdash. Why? Ki yadecha yedei damim. Your hands are full of blood. Full of blood. Too much. How can someone like you open the Beit HaMikdash? David HaMelech said, I did it for me. I did it for you. I did every milchama I went to was with the approval of the Sanhedrin. I didn't just make milchamot reshut. I made wars that were obligated by me. And still he didn't open up the Beit HaMikdash. We see Yaakov Avinu. We're going to connect it all together soon. Yaakov Avinu. He left his father's house, and he went to Shem Ve'ever. He left Shem Ve'ever, and he was going to the house of Lavan. Choni HaMakash. Always remember, when you go to that house, there's always problems on the way. No, I'm just joking. He went to his father-in-law, his future father-in-law, or his uncle. I'm not going to mean either way, either uncle or father-in-law, because we knew that Yaakov Avinu, every time there's a new demot, you call him Amak, either he can act to you like he's your uncle, or like Lavan Harasha. Again, I'm just joking. So he goes, and he puts 12 stones, and he puts his head down, and what happens? Rashi says, all the stones fought, they want to be under the head of Yaakov, and they all became one. And Yaakov Avinu, when he got up, he said, this stone is going to be the Even HaPinah for the Beit HaMikdash. With this stone, we're going to start the binyan of the Beit HaMikdash. We all know someone that has blood in his hands. If a Kohen has blood in his hands, he cannot do the Avodah. If there's a Kohen nowadays that murdered someone, even by mistake, he cannot go up to the Torah and do Birkat Kohanim. He's not allowed. Because he has blood in his hands. Physical blood. Yaakov Avinu, all his life, made sure to never kill anybody. You see the story with Eliphaz, his nephew, his student came to him and said, I have to do the mitzvah, kivud avayim. Look at this. I have to do the mitzvah, kivud avayim. My father told me I should kill you. What, you think it was hard for Yaakov Avinu to kill him? You think it was difficult for him with all the stories you heard from the Torah? You think he couldn't just one egrof to his face and call it knockout, KO on the spot? You think he didn't have the power? He saw Rachel Imenu, he picked up a stone that he needed a whole bunch of shepherds to pick up. He couldn't take care of Eliphaz. He said, why should I kill? If I kill, I will lose the schar and the promise of building the Beit HaMikdash. Why should I do that? I should hurt another person? Take everything from me. Take my money, take my gold, take my property. I will go to my uncle's house with nothing. Just I shouldn't have hurt another Jew. Another person. Forget a Jew, Eliphaz was a goy. I shouldn't have hurt another person. Yaakov Avinu was so careful when he saw Esav. You think he fought with Esav? Why was he so scared to fight with Esav? Why? You think Yaakov Avinu couldn't raise an army? He had enough money to raise the biggest army if he wanted. He didn't want to pick up a sword. He said, if I pick up a sword, I'm going to be a killer. I'm not going to have the right that the Beit HaMikdash should be built by my kids. Why do you think Yaakov Avinu's name was changed to Yisrael? What happened? What happened? Why? But it comes from that his name was changed. If his name wouldn't change, we would be called...
It's one of Hashem's name, no?
You're right. But if his name wasn't changed, we would be called Bnei Yaakov. So my question is, why was it changed? What was the story that happened before? Before that we changed it. I'm going to tell you. Yaakov Avinu was different than Abraham and Yitzchak. How was he different? Abraham and Yitzchak took in Gerim. They were big in doing kiruv. Let's help the world. Let's enlighten them with the light of Hashem. Yaakov Avinu said, no. I have to invest my time in who? My own kids. I have 12 plus my daughter Dinah, 13 kids I have to worry about. That's why it said Yaakov Avinu was makpid in what? Tchum Shabbat. The Rabbanan. Why does it mention that? Because he put a tchum around his house. He said, this is my family. When he went to Shechem, what happened in Shechem? What happened? Shechem ben Chamor saw Dinah. And his heart, those men, Rabbi, she's beautiful. Okay, you went out on a date, she's beautiful, Mazal Tov. What does she put on the table? Ya Habibi. That's irrelevant. She's beautiful. And then when they come and cry, I want to get divorced, I said, it's irrelevant already. What she had to put on the table, you didn't find out. Ya Chamor. Because you're Shechem ben Chamor, that's why. Shechem saw Dinah and said, what? I want her. What did he do? What does Rabbi Eliezer said he did? He couldn't go into the property of Yaakov Avinu. He decided to bring the woman of Shechem next to the property of Yaakov Avinu. And he made him dress up very tzanua, very nice, modest. Suddenly, Dinah saw him and said, oh, look at them. They're tzedkaniyot. Is it tzedkaniyot? Rabbi, I cover my hair, but all this is open. I'm tzedeket from Yerushalayim. I give shiurim. Biggest tzedeket. יבוא הדין אחד יום, יבוא הדין, ומה יהיה? עם כל הצדקות? Dinah said, hey, they're tzedkaniyot. Now I can have some friends. She goes outside, Shechem ben Hamor grabbed her and raped her. What does the pasuk say after? It said Yaakov Avinu picked up a sword. You read the Torah. Yaakov Avinu picked up a sword for the first time. First time. You see, a sensitive father, what does he do? He doesn't look at the whole picture. He says, this is my kid. He doesn't realize that if he doesn't take care of the kid now, later on, he's going to suffer. My kid's crying, let me give him the iPad. My kid's crying, let me give him the candy. My kid's crying, let me give him new clothes. My kid's crying, let me just give him and 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 give him. And then tomorrow, what happens? The father is, oh, what did I do wrong? I only gave you. The problem is you only gave. The problem is you didn't know how to discipline. The problem is you didn't have structure in the house. So all those people that think, oh, I'm off the derech, this, that, structure yourself. You want to fix yourself? Structure yourself. And everyone knows the reason why their downfall is because they don't have structure. They don't have physical disciplines. You fix that, doesn't make a difference if you're a guy or a girl. It's irrelevant. When you have structure, structure comes with priorities. Priorities comes with value. When you have all these things, you're not anymore a Joe Schmo in the street. Then you open up a podcast. The Bang podcast.
Big Bang.
Big Bang. See, he copied it. Do you understand? Priorities. And Yaakov Avinu said, I picked up a sword. The Midrash says he didn't kill anyone. He just picked it up. And because of that, Hashem said, after the Malach of Esav changed his name, Hashem blessed him with that name. From today on, you will be called what? Why did Hashem need to validate it? Why? Because Hashem knew Yaakov Avinu had a guilt. Maybe my kids will not have the schut of building the Beit HaMikdash. And Hashem said, don't worry, Yaakov. Alai, you're going to build the Beit HaMikdash. Because today, Mishaneh, you change your name, you change your mazal. It's one of the things the Gemara says, if you change your name, I'm not telling anyone to change their name. It's a very dangerous process to do. Very much against it.
So what does that mean when he says change your name?
His name was changed from Yaakov to Israel. So automatically his zchuyot, give me 1 second, his zchuyot also bumped up. It became a bit different. Now if we see the story and we continue going, we see something very interesting. Yes?
Shimon and Levi ended up killing the city.
Correct.
Why did he not feel guilty about that?
Because they were Yaakov Avinu was judged by his actions.
Not by his kids' actions?
His kids got punished. They don't have an achala in Eretz Israel. Not Shimon and not Levi.
Yeah.
They both don't have a portion.
Shimon's in the end.
Shimon was cursed for until today. Unfortunately, that Shevet is cursed. Ohave Avodah Zarah they are. They're the lovers of yes. When the king of Yehuda wanted to build the Egel HaZahav again, I forgot the name of the king at the moment, in Eretz Israel after the time of the kings, where did he build it? He built it on the property of the residents of Shevet Shimon. He didn't build it on their property, on the residents of Shevet Shimon and Shevet Dan, but we won't get into that right now. Why? Because he knew they had a certain attractiveness to Avodah Zarah, as we see in last week's Parashat. What happened in last week's Parashat? You remember? 2 weeks ago, sorry, Matot Maseh. With Pinchas. What happened with Pinchas? Which tribe sinned? Shimon. They did the Zima. They did the Avodah Zarah. Hashem didn't punish them because they did Zima. Hashem punished them because they were worshipping Baal Peor. They had diarrhea. They wanted to do the Tachtidil. That was the Avodah Zarah of Baal Peor, to use the bathroom in the idol, on the idol. We're not going to talk about that, right? That's not the point of this year. But let's look at it even more. Where was the Beit HaMikdash built? In whose territory? Levi doesn't have a territory, Jonah. He's right, Binyamin. Why in Binyamin? Do you know why? Binyamin never sinned. He never hurt a fly. Binyamin was one of the men, the first man, but one of the men that never sinned a day in his life. So he had the schut that the Beit HaMikdash should be built on his territory. Except which part? Except which part? Oh yeah, we go to yeshiva, no? Tochacha, right? Which part? The Mizbeach. The Mizbeach was built on whose property? Yehuda. Why? Because the Mizbeach corresponds to doing Teshuvah. Hashem said, Binyamin, Yehuda, when all of your brothers accused Binyamin of stealing the goblet, you know what they told Binyamin? Ganav ben Ganava. Your mother stole the terafim from Lavan, you stole the goblet from Afsnat Paneh, which was Yosef. It's in your blood to be a thief. All of the brothers said that, besides who? Yehuda. Yehuda didn't open his mouth. He didn't say that. Why? Because he said, I have a responsibility for him. How can I accuse my brother? Who gives me the right to accuse him? And the Pirkei Avot says, how can you judge another Jew? You can never judge until you're in his shoes. Comes the Mepharshim say, you'll never be in his shoes, so you're never allowed to judge. You're never allowed to judge. Who gave you the right? Hadin v'hadayan is only Hashem. B'chodo v'atzmo.
What if you're trying to help your friend?
1 second. All psychology questions out. So Yehuda that didn't open his mouth and had a responsibility, Hashem said, you, in your property will be the Mizbeach. Because you have the power to do Teshuvah properly. We're going into the days of Tish'a B'Av. May Hashem bring the Beit HaMikdash min Hashemayim, that we don't need to go through the suffering. We can still fast. The fasting is not the suffering. The suffering is that we don't have the Beit HaMikdash. That we don't have the Kurbanot, the connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu properly. May fasting be one of our biggest problems in our life. What's to fast? What, you can't fast for 26, 25 hours? What are you, a behemoth? What's there to do? Of course, you live in a society, you have to eat 3 times a day and have snacks throughout the day. What nonsense is this? We're going into the days of Tisha B'Av. If there's one thing you can take home, is don't judge anybody else. Is don't rebuke for your own pleasure. Rav Zusha and Rav Elimelech Mi'ani Boli, you know how they used to rebuke other Jews? They used to see a Jew do something wrong, they used to sit down and they used to look at each other. Let's say the guy missed mincha. And 2 brothers, Tzaddikim Elyon, would look at each other and they would start crying. And they said, we missed mincha. What are we going to do? We missed mincha. And the guy over there doesn't know that they were really referring to who? To him! Why? Because they're not putting him down. They're talking to themselves. Automatically would give the other person a chizuk. And instead, what mentality do we have? Let me bash the person. Let me make him feel like garbage. For who? For your ego. No, my friend. You're not doing tochecha. That's not the proper way of tochecha. And we see this from who? Moshe Rabbeinu Batzmo. When he bashed the Jews in the beginning, he said, Shimuna Amonim. He said, Hashem said, you're not going into Eretz Israel. Forget about it. Forget about it. But over here, when he came to the Jews, he praised them a little bit first. He told them, you got the Torah Kedusha. And now that you got the Torah, remember where we passed. And he named all the cities where they passed. He didn't tell them the sins that they did, mamash. He said, remember this city? And they already understood what they did wrong. You want to help? You want to help your friend, right? He said, for his benefit. 100% for his benefit. Then do it only with a smile. Because he's not going to listen to you when you do it bashing him. He won't. Do you listen when they bash you? Absolutely not. So you think he will listen when you bash? So how do you do it? You do it with pure ahava ve'achva. Pure love. Pure love. When you use that love, whatever that means, we have to make sure what is love, but we're not going to get into that today. That's going to take us months and years to finish. Because love is not having butterflies in your stomach. That's called lust, for all the engaged men over here. That's not love. Infatuation, or nonsense, or beauty. Love is when you're willing to give up to a point that has no benefit for you. That's real love. That's the love you have to Hashem. I don't care about the reward and I don't care about the Gehinom. I just want to serve you. When you reach that, halavai ve'halavai shenizkeh, even a second in our lifetime to feel that way, then you will understand what real love is. So you want to fix building the Beit HaMikdash? Each one of us have to do it. Ahavat Chinam. Ahavat Chinam, why? Because that's exactly the way the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, through Sinat Chinam. So what are the similarities between Yaakov Avinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, and David? Anything these three giants touched never got destroyed. If it was the Mishkan, if it was the bridge that David HaMelech made, and if it was the Krashim that Yaakov Avinu brought to Mitzrayim that Moshe Rabbeinu used for the Mishkan, they're existent until today. And the Gemara Masechet Sodah said these three people never died. Never died. Why? Because even if they're not here, they're still running before the Zchuyot of the Yehudim. Who are the three? David HaMelech, Yaakov Avinu, and Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why they say Mashiach is going to be who? They say David, and some say Moshe. How does that make sense to you? Because when they're going to come back and they're going to build a Beit HaMikdash, it will not get destroyed. Finished. The job is done. Correct. Correct. Since it was a war of mitzvah, it wasn't a war out of his own liking. He did it because the Sanhedrin told him to do that. Hashem said, I'm going to spare that you are not really a killer. Because if I tell you to do something and you do it, you get forgiven right away because I commanded you. But your son Shlomo HaMelech is not you, David HaMelech. That's why he will have the coronation. And that's why his Beit HaMikdash will be destroyed. The greatest thing you can ever achieve in your life is Chokhmah. It's known that Shlomo HaMelech, he had a nevuah and he had an option. What was his options? Osher, money, kesef, zahav, pool. Why? Woo! Money! Ah! Look at all the red pill guys. Money! Or Chokhmah. Knowledge. What did he pick? Why? Why? Isn't he a sick?
No.
What?
With knowledge.
Who picks knowledge? If you have money, you have power. You can control the world. Steve read it to Rabbi Yisai, you don't have to answer. Rabbi Yisai, money, you need the money. Hashem says. Why you pick knowledge? The greatest gift you can have is to be in any area, any social area, and know how to communicate with them. To be amongst doctors and know how to speak the language of a doctor. To be amongst investors and be able to speak about investors, not the Robin Hood people. Talking about real people, not that fufuoni kind of people that became rich overnight and poor overnight. None of those. I'm talking about people that mamash mashkiya in Torah. A guy goes and starts to discuss Torah. You'll be able to stand there and say, "Tell me the sugya," and he tells you the sugya, and you start pounding. That's the greatest gift. Knowledge is beyond everything. How do we achieve that? We achieve that by having ahavat chinam. When a person has unconditional love, automatically his blockages that he put down for himself in his life goes away. And now he's able to understand everyone to their level. Back to the story of Nachman and Breslau. The guy with the chicken, the king that had a son that was a chicken, he mamash thought he was a chicken. You don't see the guys that walk in Central Park, they think they're dogs. And cats, they're mamash dogs and cats. I'm telling you, they are dogs and cats. They're dogs and cats. What happened? They need someone that's going to talk to them enaim le'enaim, as they say, eye to eye. I'm also kachuk. Come, let's talk. Kachuk, I'm kachuk. Ow. Today I'm also a wolf. Oh, bayachad. We'll do the whole symphony. And then you look at each other and say, what are we, crazy? What are we, obligated? We're not really kachukol. And then automatically one says to the other, Chai, benefit. Chai, free food stamp. Free this, free that. Section A. It's good to be poor. Why? Let's just be kachukol. Until the other guy says, oh, chad. Gagoy kachuk. How are we going to end up like this? Forever we're going to be kachukol. Family, life. You want to be misken all your life? I know this old mentality, this communist mentality. It's let's get everything free from the government. Let's get it. No, break that down, break it. You don't have that. Don't want free things. That was the sin of Adam Arishon. Hashem said you have to earn your keep. You have to earn it. You have to work. You have to work, Rabbi Sai. You have to work for every dollar. How you work is irrelevant, but you have to work. The Gemara says, the Pirkei Avot says, a man that works pushes himself away from doing averot. A man that doesn't work makes himself do more averot and bitul Torah. Because when you're not working and you think you're learning, you're only thinking about money. But when you're working and you finish work and you don't have to think about it unless it's really urgent, you also can say, I'll think about it in another hour. Let me learn Torah properly. Let me learn properly. Someone sent me a clip of my brother yesterday. He said, a person doesn't learn Torah for 2 hours a day. What are we going to do? What's 2 hours? What is 2 hours? Look at your screen time. 7 hours a day. A day. You're watching what? How that one's getting rich and how that Znut Zebra is doing shtuyot. And how this one is I don't know, making money. And this one is using AI. And this one, and you're over here like a loch looking at everyone. You're the biggest idiot. You are you're wasting 7 hours on what? On other people. For what? For what? It's embarrassing. If I would look at your screen time, you guys would be embarrassed. For who? You're making other people successful, and by you dreaming, stocks. A real person that's in stocks doesn't look at other people's picks. He does his own research early in the morning or late at night, depending on what he wants to invest in. You don't look at picks. Picks are for people that want to get rich fast. I want to get rich fast. Those people are never going to be rich. They're going to get lucky. Like GMC, they got lucky. Or what's that other thing that went up? Oh, I'm rich, huh? I'm going to hold. Pah! What happened? They got clapped. They got clapped in minutes. And I look at them the next day in shul. Billionaire, what happened? I said, stop following people. They're riding on you. The real millionaires know how to ride on all of you people. They wait for you to go in because they're already in. And when they see everything's going out, they're out. And you over there, you're chewing your thumb. Oh, CT, I'm in so much debt. Because you're a sucker. Because you didn't do your research. Because you didn't do your educational things that you needed to do in this field. That's why I said knowledge is power. Because when you have knowledge, every shmom of baloney is going to tell you something on social media. You're going to say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So you want to be a leader, you want to be a follower. I think you guys should be leaders in your own aspect. You should only follow one. One that will always be one. Who's that? Hashem. Ani Rishon, Vani Acharon. I'm first, and I'm last. There is no one going to be in between. Stop running for things that are never going to get you anywhere. If you really wanted, you would drop everything and put full attention to the thing. you don't really want it. So you're never going to be successful. You want to be successful, put full focus on it. That's how you reach success. Now, I'm not telling you this because of any social media things that come around my way. I'm telling you this because this is the fact in life. Rav Ovadia didn't become Rav Ovadia because he had a gift. Einstein also had a gift. What did he become? Mathematician. Good. The world uses his math. But at the end of the day, did he use his gift that Hashem gave him for the right reasons? No, he was one of the people that created nuclear weapons. He created things of mass destruction. Matov, Rav Ovadia created books of knowledge beyond the springs of knowledge. He opened new springs of knowledge. Someone that dwells in his books, it's beyond. It's like, who heard of these books before? What's going on over here? Because he invested his time. He invested his time. Rabbi Isai, Tochacha has to be done with love. You guys can all achieve. You guys will all achieve, but only if you focus. Only if you focus, you will achieve. And that's the message of who? Moshe Rabbeinu. Let's take that message and remember, every single one of us at 1 o'clock, 102, 103, every day until the Beit HaMikdash comes down, which should come down right now, should say Tikkun Chatzot during the day. And at night, say Tikkun Chatzot again. Why not? What are you doing? Nothing. You're not doing anything anyways. Do a mitzvah. Show your sorrow. Show your pain and your connection to the Churban Beit HaMikdash. I'm going to finish with this last story. Napoleon one time was traveling through Europe when he was trying to conquer. He passed through a shul and he heard the shul and they were crying. And he asked one of his generals, go inside, see what they're crying about. And the general comes back and says they're crying over a building that was destroyed over 1,500 years ago. He went to his general, Napoleon, and said, these people will live forever. Why? Because if they can still feel the pain of something that happened over 1,500 years, these people have a salvation. Rabbi Isai, everything and everyone in this world, I'm not going to say what I want to say. Any questions? Can't, it might hurt someone's feelings.
Alright.
What's your question, Jonah?
Why don't they rebuild the temple already?
We can't build it until Mashiach Tzidkenu comes, until we have the Ephra Parah Adumah. And once we have the Ephra Parah Adumah, we have the Kohanim that come, we will be able to build it. We have a Haftaha. We have a Kabbalah, which means a tradition, that the Beit HaMikdash is going to come min hashamayim, from the heavens. And before it comes from the heavens, there's a process. Mashiach first has to come. He has to come and make milchamot. It's not what people think. Mashiach comes, runs flying on wings, Rabbi Isai. You still have a mortgage, and if you have debt, you still have to pay your debt, and you have a whole sipur, my friend. And throughout the year, Techiyat Leitim, which is much later, some say Tzadikim before, there's a whole process. But buckle up your seatbelts and hopefully we will see it. Because when he comes, ya Habibi,
Is it year you said? Or is it
it's longer. Habibi, when he comes, it's going to be an interesting roller coaster. And you know who's going to be in his army? Do you want to know who? Halavai. It's one of the greatest compliments you could have ever told me. You know who's going to be in his army? Not these bodybuilders that work in the gym. Some new thing. People, was one famous guy said you have to work your top chest. Everyone start to do the bell like this now. I go to the gym, I see everyone doing like this. I was like, first of all, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it hunchback. You're doing it wrong. You have to pick up your back, you have to straighten it, you have to have a certain elevation, and then you do it. But everyone wants to be, I have to show my chest like he's a girl suddenly. I want to show it. I want to open up 2 buttons, hair coming out, like a hashverosh, and I want to pick up my thing. See, those people are not going to be in the army of Mashiach. You know what those people are going to be doing? They're going to be maybe cleaning the tzoar or tachat of the other people. They will not be in the army of Mashiach. You know what's going to be the army of Mashiach? People of stature, of self-control. People that can have and look at a tava and say, this is garbage. This is nothing.
People will obtain from their desire.
Yes, because those people have zchuyot. Those people can wear tefillin all day and go fight. Why was the Lubavitch Rebbe so makpid of the tefillin campaign? Why? Because the Torah says, the Gemara says, that Goy will see the tefillin and he will tremble. He said, you know how the Jews will win? Put tefillin on for all the soldiers. Why? Because the zchut of the tefillin will save them. Not the warriors. They were done. They gave up hope. They were using seltzer bottles as bombs. Do you know that? Do you know how they won the goyim? Goyim? You know how done they took carbonated water and they threw it down. It made a big boom, and they thought they're dying. They all ran away. That's how the Yehudi won. We don't need to fight. We need Hashem. Let Him fight our war. When He fights our war, we win. Throw your trust in Him and He will take care of you, it says. Throw it. The problem is we don't throw it. We think we're in control. Habibi, you're not in control. You're in an illusion. You're a skaska. It's soon going to expire.
So what did they say? Do your stuff.
Do
Your shtadlut.
your hishtadlut, correct. That's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, if you don't do your hishtadlut, then what do you do? Your hishtadlut is only relying on who?
Sure.
That's it.
Of course.
I'm not telling you, since everything is on Him, so I'm going to be Allah, I'm going to stay and do nothing all day. That's not called doing hishtadlut. That's called being an idiot. Hishtadlut is actually doing the requirements that you need to do. Both men and women. Both men and women. What? There's no difference for a woman. There's no difference. You finished? Finished doing Bidul Torah? There's no difference. You know how much a woman needs to do as well? All the halachot she needs to learn. She has to be baki in isur ve'heter more than the man. She's in the kitchen all day. She's in the kitchen all day. What the men are learning in Kol for 3 years, she has to know already by like this. All halachot Shabbat has to be baki in your pocket and in her pocket. There's no question
I
about
have
it.
a question.
Yes.
After a woman is on the period, is she allowed to cook for you? Or?
One second. We didn't go left field. We just, you know what we did? We drive in reverse now. It's a bit different. You know what I'm talking about? We're not like the Ben Ish Chai, which the Ben Ish Chai writes that he even ate b'taharat HaKodesh. When Mashiach comes and we're going to have the Efer, Para, Duman, we're going to be Tahor. You're right, the women that are going to be in Nidah will not be able to cook to us. The Ben Ish Chai had certain women cook for him when his wife was in Nidah that were not in Nidah. To reach that level, to the point that the Ben Ish Chai used to dip his fruits and vegetables into the mikvah before he used to eat it. It's called Sephardi pride. Yes. For him, Taharat, to be pure, was the most why don't we know this? Because we don't learn about our Sephardi heritage. The Ashkenazim are Kodesh Kodashim. Kodesh Kodashim. But we're not any different. That was the Ben Ish Chai. And don't think there are people that don't do that today. I know people that do that today.
They dip their vegetables in mikveh?
Yes. I know people beyond your understanding what they do to be betara. My father is one of these kind of people. He lives betarat HaKodesh 24/7. In his after his 120, you know what they're gonna write on his tombstone? Baal HaTfilot, the man of the mikvah. The man lives in a mikvah. Do you understand what I'm telling you? As much as you sleep, that's as much as he's in the mikvah.
But we're always tempted.
Now you're going to tell me, oh, what is he doing? Let's bring the fish of mind here. What you do in one year of learning, he does in 5 tefillot. 5 tefillot he does.
Are we always impure?
Yes, we have certain impurities, but certain purities we have. And a person that wants to have a tshuka of being a b'tzidkut, this is the way he lives his life. In his mind, it's only Hashem, Torah, mitzvot. Hashem, Torah, mitzvot. Someone one time asked me, I love Ashkenazim, I love them with a passion. He asked me, why do you need a mikveh? I showed him the Stipler's tshuva. The Stipler used to say, if you don't learn b'tara, your Torah, Rahman al-Islam, it's not good. It's not good. What? You think when Mashiach comes down, go to the mikveh? You think we'll only go before Rosh Hashanah and Kippur? Pnuyot are going to have to go to the mikveh. You know what I mean? A pnuya, someone that's not even married. A non-married woman is going to need to go to the mikveh to eat food. And to learn Torah. Because the Torah makes us b'tahara. Wait, next to the coffee machine, maybe, right? Huh? Next to the coffee machine. So don't mizalzel in your heritage. Don't mizalzel in going to the mikveh. I'm very pro it. Instead of being on your phone for 7 hours and not learning, go run. Waste 20 minutes to go to the mikveh. Go be betara. Go be a little bit holy. Go. Is that the ikar of Avodat HaKodesh? No. But being tahor is, being pure. People ask me, what's one of the biggest skulot for you never to do Zer Lavatala? The second you do it, the second go find the mikveh. The second you do that sin, find the mikveh. Jump head first. Jump in the mikveh. Why? Because when you jump into the mikveh, what happens to you? You don't have that guilty conscience as much as you had before. That guilty conscience makes you do it again. And again, and again. You want to break it? Run to the mikveh. If you have that in your mind, you're going to say, oh, it's not worth it for me to do. Why? I got to go to the mikveh, and the mikveh might be too hot, and it might be too cold, and it's so far away. So you think 1,000 times before you do a sin. But if it's going to be chofshi, do all the shtuyot in the world, then where are you going to get to? Tahara is don't lose your traditions. I don't care which yeshiva you learn in. Don't lose your traditions. I also used to be mizazel in derech hasfaradim when I was younger, until I grew up. And I became older, and I started to open books, and I started to actually learn. And my mind blew. 4th of July. Why? Because I realized I was mizalzel on something I shouldn't be mizalzel. You have to be proud of your heritage. You have to open the Sfarim and you have to say, matok mikvash. Problem is, we don't learn about our Gdolim. So we don't learn about our Gdolim, so we think everything is hefker. Any other questions for tonight? I can rant for hours. I'd rather not.
What's asking for the mikvah, the commandment in the Torah or no?
The mikvah is, being tahor is a commandment, of course, when you have the Beit HaMikdash. There is a takanat of, who? Ezra Sofer. It's the one that rebuilt the second Beit HaMikdash. And what did Ezra Sofer say? What was one of his takanot, besides eating garlic, Erev Shabbos, which everyone knows, because they want the school to have boys, and everyone knows if you eat garlic before Shabbat, and you are doing the mitzvah of Onah with your wife on Shabbat after Chatzot, you have a skula to have boys. Take the whole tissue box. Everyone knows that skula, and that's why the Bukharians had me not to eat sir kanis, which has a lot of garlic. But we don't know this because we only put down our own minhagim. Why does it have garlic? Because you eat it at Erev Shabbos for you to have the mitzvah of Onah with your wife on Shabbat. But we don't click it. We don't click it. Why? Because we don't have that. We don't look at life in a bigger lens. Ezra Sofer made another takana. Give me 1 second. Why garlic? I just told you, because it allows you to have boys. It's a skula to have boys.
Remember, your wife is going to keep you out of
Garlic for what?
What did I say at the beginning of my shiur? When a man stays in his lane and a woman stays in his lane, there is no one kicking no one out. You eat the garlic, you wash your mouth, you call it a day. End of story.
What is garlic for? What is garlic for?
It's a schoolat to have boys. It allows.
It's like
No, don't do that. Your blood pressure is going to go up and you're going to die. It allows certain properties of the zera to. Whatever. That's not the point of the shiur. Ezra Sofer said as follows. Ezra Sofer says as follows. What's one of his takanot? What's takanat Ezra? Anytime a man has zera that comes out of him, zera means seed, I'm talking b'lashon nikiyah, you have to go to the mikveh. The Chachamim saw that this was very hard, and they said you don't have to. The Rambam says you have to. Where everyone holds his book, old Litayim, try to understand, what does the Rambam say? What did the Rambam try to understand? The Rambam said, go to the mikvah. Why don't you do it? It's not comfortable for me. I don't care about it. That's how Reform came to town, you know that. We only do what we want to do. And that's modern Orthodox. Modern Orthodox is the same thing. It's the new Reform. You just don't see it yet. Modern Orthodox, this is what it is. I do what's comfortable. I keep tzniut, but it's okay if the shirt is like this. It's okay. It's right. It's it's right here. It's Masechet Eruvin. There is we use it for halachot of Sukkot. There's something called lavud. What's lavud? If it's close enough, you can consider that it's part of the wall, the schach. Same thing. The woman say it's lavud. Tzniut. You see, my shirt is here. I have around 5 inches. So it's considered. They became such. They're smart. Unbelievable. They have such a cup. These people and these rabbis that give heter. Oy lehem yom adina gadol. They had Sephardi pride until their wives want to wear wigs. Suddenly, it's not Sephardi pride anymore. I don't know what's going on in this generation. Where they're flying, when they're not flying. Because they are, I don't understand which wigs you are allowed. If it's not, there's certain heterim. Yes, we know. But if you are someone that fights for halacha, fight all the way. Don't be chetzi. Don't play half-half. I despise people that are half-half. Be a mensch. You want to be a man all the way.
What do you say about every Jew then, half-half? Because something be easy, something be harder, they can work on it.
As long as you're growing, you're good. If you're not growing, you're not good. The first criteria I tell my talmidim, my real talmidim, when they go on shidduchim, if you're dating a girl that's satisfied with her Torah mitzvot, don't marry them. I'm using harsh words. Why, Rabbi? Why? Because you're never going to grow. She's never going to want more in the house. I'm good. I keep Shabbos. I keep Nida, chetzi. I keep Kashrut. I'm tzanua when I want to be tzanua. You're not growing, but where's your connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How you think you're gonna raise kids that they're gonna love Hashem? No, you're not. You will not. Unless they're gonna find a Rebbe that's gonna really give them such ahava. Some people are lucky, some are not. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna come and cry, Rabbi, not that she's wrong. She's just not right for you.
How do you find that out?
We're not going to talk about it right now. Do you understand? Do you understand where I'm coming from? A person has to always want to grow. I want to grow. If you're not growing, you're going down. If you're not growing, you're just going down. You have to want to grow. Your heart has to be with butterflies. You have to read Shir Shirim, not the art school version. They didn't translate it properly. You have to take the Koran version. Read it. It's full of intimacy between who? Between you and Hashem. If you're a pervert, you think it's between a man and a woman. It's not. It's between you and Hashem. How you have to love Hashem to the point that you're infatuated with Him. Your whole life has to be just based on Him. Who are you basing your life on? And a woman? What are you, a shater? You base your whole life on a woman. Rahmana litzlan. Shame on you. Oh, you're telling people not to love? No, I'm telling them to have priorities. If he's gonna love Hashem, trust me, he's gonna love you. If he's only gonna love you, he's not gonna even love you. True love is love that never breaks, and that's the love between you and Hashem. No other love is that. So how do you start? Schedule every day. In your schedule, shacharit mincha arvit. Every single day. Kashrut, mikvah, all these stuff are priorities to grow in Torah mitzvot. Priorities. They're not bittul Torah. They're allowing you to grow. They're allowing you to grow. My Rebbe told me, you know, you want to go to the embassy of God? What's the embassy of God? The mikvah. You want to go, if a goy goes to the mikvah and it makes him a Jew, do you hear what I'm telling you? Imagine what it does to a Jew that goes inside. If a goy gets in the Shema when he goes in, how about a Jew? How about a Jew? What does it make him? That should be in your brain. And then you open the Gemara and you learn it, and you don't have a certain safek that you're not tahor because you can learn bamash b'tara. Your learning becomes even gishmak. You don't think of the sins you did because you passed it. Your learning is unbelievable. Your success of your day is unbelievable. That's the way we have to live. That's an example. I said in mikvah, okay? There's other things, if it's kashrut, and if it's Shabbat, if it's tzniut. But when you have that, and that's in your priority, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Rabbi Sai, Tisha B'Av is around the corner. Let's make sure it doesn't come. Let's make sure we're going to have Sason v'Simcha on that day. And if we work on ourselves and be the best we can be, I guarantee to you, we're not going to fast this Tisha B'Av. If we be the best we can be, to each his own, everyone knows, cut down screen time every day. Look at your screen time, look at it now, and say, I'm on it 6 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, I'm cutting down an hour. What are you doing instead? Figure it out. Figure it out. You learn for an hour a day. Sherebele, right? You learn? 30 minutes b'ritzifut. No phones, no distractions, nothing. Close the phone, I'm learning 30 minutes straight. Like a soldier. You wake up late to shacharit, you miss zman kriyat shema, oy lecha miyom adin. How much you have to fast and do teshuvah for missing kriyat shema bizmana? Oh my, if you guys just knew. I'm going to wake up early enough to say Shema on time with my tefillin. I'm not going to miss mincha. I'm not going to miss arvit. I'm not going to forget to say Birkat Hamazon Ala Nechei Borei Nefashot, which is a deoraita, not a drabanan. Everyone's makpid and shakol and mizonot and hamot, so they're forgetting that Birkat Hamazon Ala Nechei is a deoraita. So you can say shakol 6 times. You're not sure if you said shakol, you didn't say shakol, but you're doing all sfikot, all brachot levatalot. Shem Hashem, you're saying Levatala, which is a doraita for Sfaradim, and Birkat Hamazon, Baruch Hamonai Lo. What's still Yam Haaretz? Don't even have Haaretz. And then all the Amars in Mahadus, they go like this, they go like this, they kiss everything over here. They're kissing the head, the forehead, the cheeks, the neighbor's head. But what are you doing? Take the Siddur, it takes you 20 minutes. Yeah? Open the Siddur. Skoda Parnasa. Rabbi side, you want a bigger school for Parnasa? Say Birkat Hamazon. What's the big deal? I have ahavat chinam. You see someone doing something wrong, approach him nicely. Approach him nicely.
What if they don't want to be approached?
Don't approach him.
Perfect.
Don't approach
I
him.
try to approach people.
Don't approach anybody. If he doesn't want and it's not going to help, there's no point.
What if you feel like someone respects you though? As a friend, like you always have a friend, you respect them, they respect you, right? That's usually why you're friends. So you feel like you're thinking...
It doesn't make a difference, even if it's for your child. Approach him nicely.
Yeah, take it that way.
Yeah, I just said, approach nicely. Don't do b'tkifut. You're not hunting. Don't hunt the person.
You can't force.
Forcing doesn't work. Anyone have any other questions?
Yeah. How do you keep your supporting tradition and like this not supposed to be with the yeshivas? How do you keep your supporting tradition?
You're talking about when you're going to Israel? First of all, that's not so true. what you said now is not so true. A person keeps his Sephardi traditions two ways and two ways only. Number one, he reads a lot of stories on Gedolei Sfaradim. And number two, he learns the books of the authors of the rabbis of the Sfaradim. When you do these things, automatically you find the love to it. Now, in any way, shape, and form, I'm not putting down Ashkenazim. I learn every single day, both in Pshat and Chassidut, Sifrei Ashkenazim. They're brilliant minds. No one's saying you're not. But I'm proud that I'm a Sfaradi. That's all I'm gonna say. Any other questions? We're done? Don't be shy, ask. Lo habayshan lamdan. A shy person will never be knowledgeable.
What's that other thing again?
No, that's a Leitzan question. That's not a real question.
What
I'll explain after. That's not a... We'll explain after. You had something to say? You're thinking. Say it.
I don't have anything to say.
Say it.
I don't have anything.
Say it.
I got you.
Say it.
I don't have nothing to say.
Have a good night, Rabbi Shai.